Hey, it's Mark. Welcome to Single Car Garage. How y'all doing? We're going to do a little bit of work on the interior on the 36 this week. And this morning, I've been working on a 84 Camaro that we have. And I'm going to start out with showing you what I'm doing. I'm doing some sanding. Of course, I'm probably not going to show that on video because it's pretty boring. But let me show you the problem I have with this car and what we've got to do to fix it. So let's go take a look at it real quick. You can see there where the clear in the paint is popping off. Same thing down in this area. This is 84 Camaro Z28, all original except for the wheels. Original under the hood, original interior. I've got a black 82, but when I bought my black 82, I wanted this gray and silver Z28, but they didn't have anything, couldn't find one. So 20 years ago, I was running around Athens, Tennessee, and I've seen this car sitting on a lot with 80,000 miles on it. But with this gray paint, it's actually charcoal, the sun has let it start oxidizing below the paint, and the paint's been popping off. So what I've got to do is sand this down. And what I've done in the past, now I've got to sand this a little bit further. You've got to sand it till it looks like this. You're not seeing any of these imperfections. See these little imperfections? You don't want to see them. You want to get it down to this. So I've got a little bit more sanding to do on this. I got to sand it down, which I'll probably sand it down over at about in this area, over in about this area on this side here. Seal it, and then come back and paint it. And what I'm going to do is I'm just painting the top here around. I'm going to cut it right here and blend it in to the rest of the car. The car's a survivor, and even though I've had to do some more paint work on it in the past, I'm still trying to leave as much original paint on it as possible, but it's eventually going to have to be repainted. I had the same problem in the front here, where the clear is just getting bad and the paint's getting bad. Have not made the decision yet, will I paint the whole hood or am I just going to blow it in? It's real noticeable if you blow it in, but again, I like that originality of the car. Now this car was painted on this side partially at one time due to the original owner. It's set in a carport, and the sun hit this side more than it did the other side on the top, and that's why this side was repainted about 20 years ago, or partially repainted 20 years ago. So I want to get it looking pretty good and still leave it with most of its original paint. And you can see I've sanded this down. I'll be cutting it about right in there. It'll turn out pretty good. I did this back spoiler area about 8 or 9 years ago. Right after I bought the car, it kind of started falling apart. But the car stays up a lot, and so I feel comfortable the paint's going to stay pretty decent on it, at least for the next 10 or 15 years. It's a great car, runs good, everything works. I love it. Don't do a lot to it. I've thought about changing motors in it, but I'm going to leave it stock. It's 5-speed, 305 high output, and it's a decent car on the road. So that's what I've been doing this morning, is sanding that. Of course, we had a rain shower and got it. At least I got it washed off for free. But I got a little bit more sanding to do on it. Started out with 220. Now I'm gonna be doing 400 to finish it out, and then I will be doing some blow-in paint work. The next thing I'll be working on is in the 36, and That is this area here. This bar has been added when they put the air conditioner in, and I guess for this stern wheel. And I want to hide everything. So I'm going to make some panels that I will cover with a fabric. And also be hiding below here in the air conditioner area. So let me show you how I do that. Now what I'm probably going to do is make 3 pieces to put under here, and I will cover each one of them separately and then screw them up. But here I need something about 6 inches. By about 13 inches. So I'll probably cut it a little big and then gnaw it down to make it look right. So let's go cut this piece. Now this is door panel backer board. This is exactly what was used in all the 60s model, 70 model, up into some 80s, and then on back into the I think I know 60s and even back into the 50s and probably even into the 40s. I don't know exactly what they used on some of the older stuff, and it could be the same stuff, but it's basically just a pressed and hardened cardboard. So what you'll want to do is measure out. This is my 13. Now what I do is mark it, draw my lines using a paint stick. I mark it in 2 or 3 different places, that way I know I've got it straight. And let me show you what I use to cut it out. Once I have everything measured out, what I'll do is come in with this, and I'm not going to use cut the whole thing out because this noise is going to be annoying. But what I do, once I've got it marked, is I bring this saw in. It's an automotive sheet metal saw, but I've got a very fine blade in it, and it cuts this stuff real well. First, you got to turn the compressor on. You line it up, and this way you can move it around with your hand. You can also use a jigsaw if you have one. I just don't particularly have one. Look how clean that cuts that out. Looks great. So let me get these cut out. Okay, we've got this cut out, and if you notice, our steering column is going to be a little bit in the way, because so what we've got to do is put this in here, mark each side of it to where we want to cut it, and then cut a small arch for this steering column. So let me get a pencil, let's get this marked, and we'll go forward. Okay, I've got the arch marked for my steering column. Let's get that thing cut out, and then let's see how it's going to fit. All right, we've got that cut out, so let's get in here and see how this thing is going to fit. Definitely the wrong way for it to fit. Okay, I picked up the wrong piece. So here we go. And it will, what I'm going to do is put 2 screws here and 2 screws over here on that metal support rod that is run back through there. And I think what I'm going to do is run a piece of metal up for them for a little bit of stiffness, because I really don't have anything to bolt it to up here. So I'm going to run metal strip up this side and down the back side to give it some support. But see, once it gets carpet on it, or whatever I'm going to use. Probably vinyl, but not 100% sure on that yet of what I'm going to use. So that's that side. Then we had this side right here, which I still got to trim it to make it work right. I was kind of playing with the levels. I want to cut an inch off this bottom so it'll fit perfect, but I've got it trimmed out real good where it fits up nice and tight and looks good. Then right here, we'll just be using a small strip to cover that up. And thought about, this piece and this piece I probably should have made together, or this piece and this piece. This piece I didn't because of the way it fits in. You would be bending it. You're not really going to notice where the fabric ends and where the fabric begins on these three pieces. So that's why I decided to make this separate and this separate. Now, I'll have the templates. If I want to go back and put this piece and this other piece together, then I'll be able to cut a complete piece. But right now I want to leave it a little bit easier to install. And again, it's going to be in black. So I don't think you're going to notice anything. And it's going to cover it up great. Now, when I went over to this far side here, I cut a piece and then I slowly trimmed it to where it would fit in. So I think at most, what I'm going to do is take this piece, my other piece. I've got new board on order. This board here had been laying around forever, and I wanted to get all the templates cut. I think what I might do is take this piece, this piece, this piece right here, and lay them out on my new backer board when it comes and cut it all in one piece. I think that will be great, and then leave this other piece separate. Thought about doing it in metal, and then I decided to do it. And I think probably going to put some vinyl. Probably not vinyl that's going to match what's going to go on the doors, but vinyl that's going to match like a flat vinyl, like you would use on a dash, is what I'm going to be using. So I've got them all cut out. I don't have my fabric yet, so I won't be covering them. When I cover them, I'll let you in on that and let you see it. It's pretty simple. Cut the fabric, lay the glue, stretch it over the board, and we're done. What I'm going to do on the doors, let me show you. One other thing, the kick plates. This is the kick plate for this side, and I had to make a little notch for the air conditioner hose. Same way, I just made a mark where I wanted it. This will get covered. It'll get a screw here, and screw at the bottom. Now, this is the old backer board. The old material was off of it when I got the car. They saved the backer boards to make another template. I'm probably going to use this. And what I'm planning on doing is covering this in a vinyl down to about this part here. And just like the new cars, I'm going to put carpet on the bottom, and I'm going to separate it with a piece of chrome. And what I'll probably do is go to the junkyard and look for a piece of chrome that I like, that's about the size I want. I want it probably about 1/4 inch wide. And that's how I'll separate the two. This will have probably this 1/4 inch foam behind it when it's done to give it a little bit of texture to it. So that's what I'm going to be doing on the 36 interior. Now I'm piddling with this. I kind of plan on, if I can get my material in, I'd like to have the 2 doors and the front done maybe by this weekend if I get the material in. Since I'm going to have everything cut out, I'm going to finish finalizing all the cuts today. I I've got a new backer board coming probably Wednesday of this week, so I can have all that cut out and ready to go and ready to install. And then all I have to do is put my fabric on it, put it on there, glue it down. That'll take a day to dry, and then the next day I can install it. Same thing with the doors. Now you still have to do around the windows, and that's a little bit different for these older cars. And I haven't exactly figured out what I'm going to do there. I think cutting backer board is not going to work. So what I'm going to look at is, I don't know. I'm working on that right now. I've been looking at some stuff online, what people's done, and I don't know exactly what I'm going to do. So we will figure that out. So I hope to have that done, and then I'll go from there. The back is going to be a little bit more difficult, and I'm still thinking about how I want to do that. But this will have that done. So when I'm driving it, at least from eyesight forward, will look better. Headliner will be last in the car. Took the car out for a drive Saturday. We drove it for about 2 hours. It ran great, no problems, drove great. It's not a power brake car, so it still stops good. It does have disc on the front. I would like to have a power brake car. Something I'll look at in the future. Nothing I'm going to do right now. And actually, the reservoir on it is an older single piston reservoir, and I think I want to change that to like a GM style 70s model dual port. So that's something. The Camaro, I'll probably do a little bit more sanding on it, then I'll probably pull it in the garage and cover it up. That 84 Camaro I bought for my daughter when she was 15 years old. Now she ended up driving a 86 Mustang, and I'll tell you the story behind that later. But like I said earlier, that Camaro, that's what I wanted when I bought my 82. And then when I found that several years ago, I bought it because it was low mileage and well kept. The lady that owned it had it detailed every time she had the oil change. So, I mean, it was super clean and well taken care of. And it's still super clean. It's kind of a shame on the paint. And, you know, maybe someday I'll make that decision to paint it and make it look brand new again. But right now, as a survivor, I like it. And I want to keep it that way. But I'll probably get it sanded down, ready to paint. And I'll probably move it into the garage, put some plastic over it, and wait till spring to finish painting, because I've got several other projects on the way. I'll be doing a little bit of work to the 64 Le Mans this week, trying to catch up some stuff. My daughter was in this weekend, but she had to go to a conference for training, and that's where she went. And we farted around a little bit Saturday prior to her leaving. So seen some great NASCAR races, truck race. Friday night was a great race, and Front Row Motorsports won the championship, and I was glad to see that. Great story. If you like NASCAR racing, that was a good race, as good as Phoenix puts on. Then Saturday's race, Xfinity race, Ty Gibbs won the race, and you know there was a lot of controversy over him if you follow NASCAR, so the way I seen it was a big middle finger, but he was very gracious when he got out of the car. Sad news to that was his dad seen him win the championship, got interviewed and everything after the race, and his dad passed away Sunday morning. And I lost my dad when I was 9 years old, and it was tough. Ty's 20. Coy Gibbs is the gentleman that passed away. He had been guiding Ty during his career, so I'm curious to see how that's going to turn out. Somebody's going to have to step up and really be a leader for Ty. He's, like you said, he's 20 years old, and you know how we all were when we were 20, full of whatever and vinegar, and we weren't listening to a lot of people, and Ty seems to have a bit of a problem sometimes. But it was a great race. Nobody roughed up Ty. You know, a lot of people were mad at him, and they said they were going to rough him up, and it was a nice, clean race. Congratulations to the Xfinity guys for doing a wonderful job racing. And man, I tell you, it was Gregson got close, but just couldn't get there. And that's who I was pulling for. The Cup on Sunday, Joey Logano pretty much dominated. There was a short bit in there to where Chastain ran pretty decent, and so did Bell. Elliott got tapped, hit the wall, and really wasn't part of the race after that. But it was a good race. Joey Logano won his second championship, which was awesome. I like Joey. He's a nice, hard racer. Really doesn't take any crap off people, but he's a good racer. He's very good at hitting his marks, very smooth. So NASCAR season's over, and guess we go from there. Hopefully, we will see some good racing next year. I know they'll be doing some modifications and stuff on the car over the winter. It's tough. They say the hits are hard. You know, Kurt Busch is out. Bowman was out for a short bit. Riddick got out of the car because he had concussion-like symptoms. So they've got to do, this car is pretty rigid, and they've got to soften up a couple points to make wrecks a little bit easier on the drivers, because we can't be hurting our drivers. So that's the NASCAR season. I really haven't stayed up with NHRA this year much to talk about that season. I normally do. I did get excited though when Tony Stewart ran that his first race and came in second. So that's what we've got going on. So I need to get all my templates 100% done and get them ready. And then I'm going to sand a little bit more on my Camaro, get it parked. And then I'm going to go back to the 68 pickup truck and start doing some more work on it. So that's what I got going on. Hey, thanks for stopping by. Come back and see me.